The Vanishing Town. They say if you drive far enough into northern Montana, past the last gas station, past the last flickering cell tower, you'll find a road that isn't on any map. Locals call it the Gray Mile. Most people don't even notice the turn. It's a narrow, cracked strip of asphalt swallowed by trees. No signs, no markings, just a strange feeling in your gut, like the air itself gets heavier. But if you take it, you'll eventually reach a small town that shouldn't be there. A place called Coldwell. I first heard about Coldwell from an old post on an abandoned Reddit thread titled Towns That Don't Exist. The user said they'd stumbled upon it by accident while hiking, but when they returned a week later, the road was gone. No coordinates, no records, no proof the town ever existed. It sounded like another internet myth until last fall when I found something strange in the local archives. A 1947 census record listing Coldwell's population at 312 people. Then, nothing. No deaths, no migrations. The entire town just vanished from every record after that year. Curiosity turned into obsession, so I decided to find it. The morning I left, my GPS stopped working about an hour outside of the nearest town. My phone clock froze at 2:17 p.m. That's when I saw it, a weathered wooden sign in the distance, half hidden behind weeds. Welcome to Coldwell, where the past never leaves. It looked like something out of an old movie set, but behind it were houses, perfectly still, like time had stopped. No sound, no movement, just an eerie hum like electricity under the ground. I stepped out of the car. That's when I realized the air didn't smell right. No wind, no birds, just silence so thick it pressed against my skin. And yet, I swear I saw a curtain move in one of the windows. Someone, or something, was watching me.
The town that shouldn't be there. At first glance, Coldwell looked normal. Neatly lined houses, faded white fences, a church steeple in the distance, like a picture frozen in the 1950s. But something was off. The colors felt wrong, everything slightly muted, as if sunlight couldn't fully reach the place. Even the shadows seemed heavier. I walked down the main street. Every store was still there. A diner, a barber shop, even a post office. But there were no people. No sound of life. Not even the wind. And yet, the diner door was unlocked. Inside it was spotless. Plates stacked neatly, coffee cups waiting on the counter. There was even a jukebox in the corner, its glass cracked, but the light still blinking faintly. A song started to hum through its speakers, slow, distorted, old. Something like I'll Be Seeing You. Then the smell hit me, old grease and dust mixed with something metallic. I called out, "Hello?" My voice echoed down the empty street outside. That's when I heard footsteps upstairs. They weren't rushed, just steady, slow, like someone pacing. I froze. The sound stopped, then started again, right above me. I climbed the stairs, one at a time, heart pounding. The air grew colder with each step. At the top was a long hallway lined with old photographs, black and white portraits of townsfolk smiling stiffly. But as I passed each one, I realized their eyes weren't looking forward. They were all turned toward me. I reached the last door. The footsteps stopped. I pushed it open. Nothing. Just a small room with a single window facing the main street. On the desk sat a newspaper dated October 12th, 1947. The headline read, "Coldwell votes to stay independent. No outsiders allowed." And scrawled across it, in black ink, were the words, "We never left." The hum outside grew louder, like electricity buzzing through the ground. I looked out the window, and I saw a man, standing perfectly still in the middle of the street. He wasn't there before. His head tilted upward toward the window, and though his face was shadowed, I knew he was looking right at me.
The town watches back. The man in the street didn't move. He just stood there, head tilted, as if trying to remember something about me. I blinked, and he was gone. No sound, no footsteps, just gone. I ran downstairs, out the door, into the middle of the street. The air was colder now, maybe 10 degrees colder than before. My breath came out in white clouds. Every window in every house seemed darker, but I could feel eyes behind them, watching. I shouted, "Hello? Is anyone here?" My voice echoed off the buildings, faded into the mist. Then the church bell rang. Once, twice, 3 times. It shouldn't have. There was no wind, no movement in the bell tower, but it rang anyway. The sound felt wrong, muffled, like it wasn't happening outside, but inside my head. I turned toward the sound, and there, halfway down the street, was a little girl standing on the church steps, barefoot, wearing a faded blue dress. She waved at me. "Are you lost?" she asked. Her voice sounded normal, too normal. I said, "Yeah, I guess I am. Is this Coldwell?" She nodded slowly. "Not anymore," she said. Then smiled, but her teeth were too small, too perfect, like porcelain. And before I could speak again, she whispered, "You shouldn't be here after dark." The sky shifted, the kind of fast, unnatural dimming that makes your stomach drop, daylight fading even though it was still afternoon. When I looked back at the church steps, she was gone. In her place, a small doll lying face down on the stone. Its dress was the same color as hers. I backed away, my pulse pounding. That's when I noticed something else. The sign I'd driven past earlier, "Welcome to Coldwell, where the past never leaves," was now standing at the end of the main street. But it was facing the other way, like the town had moved behind me. And my car? Gone. The hum grew louder, deep, bone vibrating, like the earth itself was whispering. From somewhere down the street, I heard doors unlocking, one by one. Whatever lived in Coldwell was awake now, and it knew I was here. The town that traps its secrets. The sound of doors unlocking echoed through the street. Sharp, metallic clicks, one after another, like a chain reaction spreading through the whole town. I turned in a slow circle. Every house, every shop, every building, their doors were now slightly open, but no one came out. The silence that followed was worse than any scream. It was heavy, pressing, alive. Then, footsteps. Not one pair, many. Soft, synchronized, moving closer. From the fog, figures began to appear. Men, women, children, all dressed in faded mid-century clothes, their faces pale and still, their eyes reflecting no light. They didn't look like ghosts. They looked like people who had forgotten they were supposed to die. I took a step back. "I just want to leave," I said. An old man near the front smiled, slow, unnatural. "You already did. That's why you found us." I didn't understand. I turned and ran toward where my car had been, but now the road was gone. In its place, more houses, stretching endlessly in both directions, identical, repeating, Coldwell looping in on itself. The hum beneath the ground grew into a deep rumble. The air shimmered like heat rising off asphalt, even though it was freezing cold. The people started whispering, dozens of voices overlapping, saying the same thing. "Stay with us, stay with us, stay with us, stay with us." Their mouths barely moved, but the sound filled my head. I covered my ears, but it didn't help. I stumbled backward and fell. My hands hit dirt, and when I looked down, I realized I was kneeling on graves. Every headstone had the same date, October 12th, 1947, the same day as the newspaper, and carved beneath each name were the words, "Never left." I scrambled to my feet. The townspeople were closing in now, their whispers rising to a low, unified chant. "Stay with us, stay with us, stay with us, stay with us." The girl appeared again, standing between the graves, clutching the doll. Her eyes were hollow now. "You shouldn't have come here," she said softly. "No one's supposed to remember." Then she smiled, and the town went dark. Every building, every light, every sound swallowed at once. And in that darkness, I heard one final voice, older, deeper, right beside my ear. "Coldwell doesn't exist, but now neither do you."
The town that erased itself. When the darkness lifted, I was lying on the side of a road. The sky was pale gray, morning light breaking through the fog. The "Welcome to Coldwell" sign was gone. So was the town. I sat up, trembling. The cracked asphalt stretched out in both directions, just empty highway, surrounded by trees. My car was there again, parked neatly on the shoulder, engine cold as if it had been sitting for hours. For a long moment, I thought maybe I'd dreamed it. Maybe I'd passed out somewhere, hallucinated everything. But then, I saw the dirt on my hands, and the small porcelain doll lying in the grass beside me. It was the same one the girl had held, same blue dress, same crack in the cheek. I picked it up. It was warm. I got into the car and drove, faster than I ever had. When I finally reached the nearest gas station, a man behind the counter looked at me funny. He said, "You look like you've seen a ghost." He laughed. I asked him, "Do you know a town called Coldwell, somewhere off Highway 78? His smile faded. He shook his head slowly. "You shouldn't say that name around here." "Why?" I asked. He leaned in, lowering his voice. "Because people used to, and then they disappeared." I pressed him for more, but he just backed away, muttering something about not digging up old things. Later that night, at a motel 2 towns over, I tried looking up Coldwell again. Nothing. No records, no maps, no mentions anywhere online. Even the old Reddit post was gone. But when I opened my bag, the doll was sitting on top of my clothes. I hadn't put it there. I drove 6 hours that night without stopping, didn't care where I was going, just away. But the weirdest part? Every clock in my car still said 2:17 p.m., the exact time my GPS froze when I first saw the sign. Sometimes I dream about that town, the faces watching from behind glass, the little girl whispering, "You shouldn't be here after dark." And when I wake up, I swear I can still hear the hum under my bed. Maybe Coldwell doesn't exist. Maybe it's just a story. But if you ever find yourself driving alone in northern Montana and your GPS freezes at 2:17, don't stop. Don't look back. Because some towns pretend they don't exist so they can stay exactly the way they were forever.